So this Hoover I come to and it was stopped full of water. But I'm wondering whether that was something to do with the fact that I had interrupted the programme. So I turned it off during mid-cycle because it started leaking, and because it was leaking, because that had broke. That had only cracked and that's not fully come off. Yes, Francis! Right, in a second. So we'll leave that going. Hopefully it will spin. Drain and spun fine. I'm just going to test it on a quick rinse and spin. Right, let's see if this now works. So I'm going to quickly fill it with water and then quickly drain it. When I took when the pump was initially on, it wasn't even it wasn't turning round, so it was too loose. There's no magnetism. But as soon as I tried to take it out, then now it's. And I took it bits and there's just nothing there. So oh, it's actually working, you can actually hear it. The only other problem with this is you may not be able to see it, but if you can, well done. This is now on its 7th load. It runs perfectly fine, that's the good thing about that. Stop. It's unlocked, which is nice. We'll go change. Back. How do I change now? I'll turn it off, turn it back on. Four, drain, start. That's draining straight away, which is nice. So now put some powder in. Buttons, 60, just run a short wash. 1800 spin max. It's a bit odd actually, hang on. Watch this. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, oh no. Oh wait, stop. Change, options. Extra rinse. do its thing. See if it heats up. Should be okay. I'm going to change out that door seal afterwards. It'll be a lot harder than it looks. There isn't that much give between the dispenser and it, so it's rather interesting. It's lifting up the water and dropping it, and it's actually just going straight down the glass. That's pretty cool. I actually like that. It gives a sense of cleaning. Oh, I didn't realise this is an 1834. So you got this and then the 1835. 1835 is the last one. I know that the 1835 is a bit different. Hang on, let's have a look at my other 14 series. So I've got 1430, which you know about, and then 1434. This is an 1834. I would love to have 1430, 1451, 52, 53, 54, 55. So there's 6 machines there, all on one go. See for what the difference is, but that'll probably never happen. It's going now, see if it heats up. So this should be fully working. It's just dropped 20 odd minutes from the total cycle time, so it's just an hour 5 left remaining now. How cool is that? And not selling this on the 1434. I've never actually plugged in, so when we get that going, it'll be interesting to see. But for now, we're going to use the door seal that was off that. I've cleaned that, because that was just as mouldy. We're going to put that onto this, and we're going to take this one off, and then we'll soak that, and then put that on the 1434, and then see what happens. So it's indeed heating. Also, these tiny bits of something. Looks like pallet wood. Right, absolutely fine. How about that? So Siemens is done, all complete. There is actually a weird fault with this door. It works now, but if I pull it just a little too much, like I just did then by accident, it completely dislocates itself. But then just shoved it back on and it works again. That's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, I'll run a boil wash now with citric acid in while we sort out other problematic machines. So since they have bought this, the reset pump hasn't seemed to ever work. For some bizarre reason, having looked underneath, one of the pins, one of the connections for the pump wasn't even on. That explains why it's never worked. And it won't. So I stuck it on rinse and spin. This is where it does one rinse and spin, not 3 like the other one does. So when it gets going at some point and starts filling water, we'll soon be able to see whether the jet works. However, plugging the jet back in, it's not working, that's all. Dang. So, what we'll do is we'll only do this thing, and then we'll replace the pump. Maybe it's just because Birdtown pump. See, that's what's supposed to happen. There's one dicky difference between the AE 230 and 130. That's a lower water level. Alright, so I've put a brand new pump on. It's still magnetised, so it's... But there's just nothing from the pump. There's no pump, there's just nothing, so I'm presuming that the pump is completely broken. So I put a brand new, which is a bit odd for me. I have actually got a spare I could have used from the scrapped AE130, but I've got some Universal Ascol pumps hanging around and it's the first time they actually fit anything. I guess I plan on keeping the machine. Well, this one anyway. Hey! It's just a completely burnt out pump. The only thing that Hoover have done, I was going to say Candy have done with a jet recently is the Hoover Pulsate. So I can do with a Pulsate model. But Pulse 8 doesn't have 8 jets, it just has 2 that split into 4 different sprays. It's basically one of these but split into 4. But 2. One either side. Okay, I think this is fine. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So, I've not plumbed it in for a reason just yet. We're just going to do a basic kind of check on it. Oh, that does have that. It has got that, there's no back pipe. So let me just quickly make sure that it kind of works. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put it on spin only. But, obviously, the door is also broken on it. So, to do it, we've got to kind of close the door first. Nicely, the drum just does turn fine Although it sounds like it's full of... That door's a bit... There we go, so that's in a fashion. In a weird fashion. Oh, I clipped under there. There we go. The door's on. Obviously the drawer is completely broken. It won't even spring out, it's that jammed in. Display turns on, pretty much fine. It looks like the whole display is actually working. See? If anything, just a little bit dim. Program 1 set to Cotton 40. Program 2 set to Synthetics 40. And Program 3 set to Delicates 30. Minimum iron and extra rinse are selected with pretty much all of them. And then we've got a time delay as well. But anyway, let's just do a rinse and spin. So we're just gonna do, we'll do Delicates, rinse and spin. Spin on at 500. Pump's working fine. Somewhere some might come out the back, who knows? Let's see if it spins. That stands a better chance of actually working than the other one. I'll go on to that in a minute. Let's go. Well, that one works. Right, we're gonna get this in then. We'll put the hot and cold on. We'll put a pipe on the back and see how it doesn't well on a boil wash. We're gonna put some citric acid in. It ain't gonna be great for the spider at the back. That also being said, the drum bearings. I don't know if the drum bearings sound like they're starting to go. Can't really tell by turning the drum per se. It is a heavy drum to turn. I can't tell whether the spider's going either. Bit of an odd one, really. The reason why I say that is you can hear bits going around, but the way the spider works, what happens is that when the spider breaks, it jams the drum, and the drum's perfectly fine at the minute. Let's, we'll get this in to actually wash then. It's worth saving because when was the last time you saw all this? This is a memory, silver memory. Yeah, it's got this pattern on it. So it's immediately an F14 code. Flooding. Flooding! But it's barely even filled up anything. There might be. Oh, there actually appears to be. There genuinely is a leak. Right, let's have a look then. Luckily, the leak isn't actually big. That's all it is. Although, that was being said, how much the leak so much? I don't know. Because there's a lot of water there. I've got really powerful filling. I didn't press record. Ugh, that's annoying. Anyway, let's test it. It's come off. It's come up straight away. Might have to let it dry out, so it will eventually work. I have tipped the machine back, trying to get rid of as much water as possible, but obviously that hasn't worked. There you go, yeah, it's not worked yet. So we're gonna let it dry out first, then we'll come back to it another, probably tomorrow, or Thursday, another day, shall I say. Right, end of the wash, and I would take the washing out, but it's full of water. Not the machine's fault. Well, it is a machine fault, but it's not a drain fault, it's an inlet fault. As you can see. Right, we're going to respin it and then take the washing out. Right, so I've removed the float switch to make it work. I've also killed the leak, so you know. But I killed the leak, and then that was still bringing the code up. Taking that off, it's fine now. This runs rather smoothly at the minute. No leaks anywhere, which is nice. Bit of citric acid on the hottest setting. See what it does. Also, we'll see if contraintation is enabled or not. So I'm not going into the firmware, we'll just see. It needs to run for about 10 minutes first. So it does have contraintation, but now it's entered it, the drums are now locked. So what you can actually hear is just the belt going zip around the actual pulley. So what we'll do, we'll cancel it. Looks like it automatically goes into drain. I mean, this doesn't help. Well, let's see now if the gearbox re-engages. So if it goes back to, say, a single drum mode should be okay. That's literally the whole spider gone. This is what I want to work on another day. Right, we'll get the other Dyson in. Although I'm kind of suspecting exactly the same problem. Right, onwards. Right, so we've got yet another Dyson. So both that memory one and this Dyson both come from the same house. Just like the other Dyson, the drawer's completely smashed. In fact, this won't even spring load, so it won't stay in at all. Everything's there though. The filter cap is missing. But actually I think it is. Oh, and it looks like maybe there's a door lock issue, since that's the door lock release, manual one, and yeah, it's completely broke. Though the door itself, and this is working, well, looks like we've got a bit of a crack on the door. Again, got it's not too detrimental. Bit of a weird discoloration on the door seal. Looks like it originally purple, but it's bluing here. And then finally we get to the drum itself. There's a drum pedal missing, no biggie. There's quite a wide gap here between the drum and the actual tub. It's like it's too far back. We can't even turn the drum. It's solid. Now, that might be a gearbox issue, like the memory. Or it could be the drum itself, where it's... So that might be a gearbox issue, even though the spider is completely disintegrated on that. So we'll have a look. One other thing. So this display is fully lit up. There's no problems with it. It's also fully lit, unlike the other one, which is a bit dim. It looks like all the buttons are working. Let's give it a bit of a go then. So we'll just stick it on rinse and spin. See if the because the drums are close out the door, then press start. So we're already getting a problem with this outer door before we even started. Which is probably why they've used this and completely broken the actual manual release. But that means it broke and remained locked and then it didn't unlock, more than likely. And that will be the door lock itself, so more than likely the pins for it how it arcs across isn't working anymore. So we'll stick another one in. Right, we'll do that. Right, let's quickly check out this Bosch Classics 1000 that is now 20 years old. Not really. So, this come from the same work colleague that gave me the WML, Hotpoint WML 530. So she got this off her, I inherited it off her mum, and now she seems to think that the brushes have gone, but obviously also being older than the Hotpoint, they've just gone for a new machine. Turn on, run ready. I'll put it on the spin. It does sound rather ropey on the brushes, so bearings and spiders sound absolutely fine. Pump's fine. The door seal's actually pretty mold free as well. So it does that, and then it will click. There. It's not going around in a circle either, so it's not like it's trying to even tumble. There we go. How do you cancel this? It's all different. So yeah, let's go get some brushes and put them in. Alright, so let's test this now. We put a capacitor. That's not in properly, but there's nothing we can do about that. And a new heater. So we're going to run it for 45 minutes. I'm not going to run anything in it. I'm just going to let it get hot. It's got that new heater. If it's got any coating on it, it needs to be burnt off. While that's doing that, we'll find a condenser. We've got hundreds of Candia condensers that have all been cleaned out, so we're going to stick one in. Obviously, the one that's come out needs cleaning through, so while it's doing that, we'll let it do that. We'll also need to find the lid. They come with the lid, it's just somewhere. Well, that's running its cycle pretty fine. So we'll put some actual washing in, put it on the sensor dry, see how that goes. Right, so I'm going to test out this Hoover again. Hopefully it's not leaking now. So I've switched both the taps on. I replaced the cold valve. With, look at the valve difference. They were normally pointing up, but now the ones off the other Quattro are that way. Turn that Hoover off. That Candy off even, shall I say. Too much confusion. Doesn't look like it's leaking, so what we'll do, we're going to, also we've changed the pump. Just to make it a bit quieter, so I'm going to put it on that. I've left this open, not shut it up, because this is so warped that I've had to bang it out, because these don't actually unclip. Ever. In fact, I don't think they're designed to. What are we up to? all that clicking that it does is just this. So basically it's having to run an analog kind of timer to speed it up to where it should go. So we put it on final rinse and spin, so we're going to want the fabric softener bit. Actually, it'd be quite good actually. Let's see if it's fully working. So it's a I think that's pre-wash. I think it's pre-wash, main wash. No, that's fabric softener. Let's go the other way around. So there's 4 compartments there. Oh yeah, it's working. Not immediately leaking, are we? This is actually quite a nice machine now I've worked on it. It's because it's out of the 3, this has the best bearings in Spider. The one I'm keeping, its Spider isn't exactly that great, and the first Spider obviously completely failed on the first one, so better. Now he's on the road. Technically, it's now got the pump it came with. When it goes into its final spin, I'll be taking the drill out and then having a look to make sure that it's no longer leaking. Just I've been running this, and this whole load took just 1 hour 40, and it's fully dry on cotton standard. I was expecting it to come out at least a little bit. No, 1 hour 40, and it's done. And there's me thinking candies took ages, which they have in the past. My mum's Hoover was only 3 years old when we got rid of it, and it was taking ages to dry. Like, it took like 2¼ hours, whereas like the Bosch Series 4 heat pump, which I replaced it with, takes less time. I guess it's all down to the sensor then. There we are. Actually, I'm wondering whether the heaters are there. Let's have a look at the heater. Right, it's 2300 watt. So actually, no, it is a 2100 watt heater. What about this candy? 2300 watt. Bit of an old one, I suppose. Anyway, it's all done. It's nice. Let's take this logic then. L814W116, 8 kilo, 1400 spin washing machine. It's got ruined bearings, completely ruined. It's thrown the belt off, that's probably why they've thrown it out, not realising that the bearings are gone. So I plumbed it in. There you go, it's just a knot. There you go. So I plumbed it in, I've not put the belt on. No point, that's ruined. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select baby care. Put to 90. I'll put a little bit of powder in. I think. Look at that. Oh, so it's now filling water. It's not going to do anything because there's no belt. But you'll hear the motor. I should hear the motor whizzing around. Actually, I mean, the one thing with these medium machines is that everything responds extremely fast, so when you turn it on instantly. For example, I can hear the motor very quietly, so I'll let it do its thing. You'll probably hear it on spin later on. I'm gonna make sure it heats as well. Make sure obviously the pressure sensor works. Then see what we'll do with it. Definitely get it up to temperature. It's nice. Nice to know. This is fine. Cool. Right, look what we got here. It's a Hoover Maxi 6 AutoSense condenser dryer, model TCE60. And if it matches anything, it's the Quattro. That's what it matches. Now, it's got the proper metal door actually. Might have a spare. No, I won't actually. No, but the Candy Nova dryer I used to have, but didn't work. That's the same door. But that was only invented. This is actually the first condenser version. Now it's got its condenser. I've taken it out before I start up because it. Can you see? It's quite dirty. So I don't know whether the airflow is any good with that in. The condenser bottle is at the bottom, but then there's something else. So it switches on fine, switches off fine, switches on fine, switches off fine. The door opens fine, delicate's fine. Now look inside. Now this will make you laugh. You see a lot at the back. That's melted on. Whatever was in there wasn't supposed to be in the dryer. How? The only way for it to come off is to literally heat it back up again. Also, notice the dryer drum. It's stainless steel. Now it's got a little bit of a rumble. Not that bothered, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not had a Candy Hoover dryer that hasn't rumbled. Here's the truth though, does it work? 30 minutes time dry. Heating. Actually, despite it rumbling, you can't really hear it rumbling too much. Tiny bit of a squeal somewhere. Why whistle in the dark? I don't know. Oh, that heat.
we got heat, alright. And a definite burning smell. Probably that plastic.
It's in a okay condition. All the top's yellowed. The bottom is actually yellowed as well. You just can't really tell simply just how yellow the top is. It's got a dent on the door. It has actually got its bottom panels in the cab. That fits on fine.
Yep, let's have a look at this then. I bought for me to match. Finally. With a hose. In fact, actually, that looks original. That feels original. It's not a copy one. That. Now I know it heats. So let's see if the sensor dryer works. This has been untouched, so there's, if anyone's seen one of my other previous testing videos, there's a matching Creeder dryer to my Creeder washer dryer that I got, but I've never plugged it in. The guy who sold that has now sold me this. He knows I'm after older dryers, but he didn't realise is that this is, yes, an older dryer. It's one I've been wanting for ages. I've got a TL71 as it is, in polar white, but it's the wrong colour. Yeah, this is the weird thing, we'll go on to this, is just a little bit. I grew up with a Hotpoint 9920 washer dryer in white and brown, a WD-61P white, WD-64P white, and yet the machines I wanted was a 9920 in almond and brown, not white and brown, and all the WMs and TLs in graphite, not white. And this is because I found, and I think it's a bit of a psychological thing, I'm wanting that machine because that's childhood, but I'm wanting the colour I couldn't have it in. And I've always been attracted to graphite rather than polar white. It's always been me. Yeah, it's warm. Right, so I bought this Hoover. Bought cheaply. Because I basically bought this for spare repair prices. Yet it should be fully working. It's a Hoover Aquavision, so I'm sure it'll melt itself or break the tank at some point. But no, the tank's still intact. Right, something interesting as well. You've got Memo, which is Rapid 40. That's already saved. Then you've got All Towels, which is your extra dry, bone dry. Store Dry, which is extra dry. Hanger Dry, which is your cupboard dry. And then Iron Dry. But look at the time difference. Nothing. Cotton. Synthetic, which is shorter. I suppose it's taking into account that you only put in like half load in. Then you got relaxed, 12 minute, and then you got wool, which is an hour 10. A program that's actually designed to dry wool. The mix and dry, which is 1 hour 39. I love mix and dry. It's actually really good. But there's no low heat, so it's only on cotton high heat. Same with shirts and same with Rapid 40. Oh no, you can lower it on shirts. Ugh, this dial's horrible. Horrible. Right, so we'll leave that to run. Oh, it's also black. Since I want some black stock in, so. But I really don't like the fact it's a Hoover. Okay, so the filter light's flashing, taking out the condenser, it's pretty much completely clogged. So, what I'll do is put this down there. So, it's been on the go for some time now. One thing that keeps happening is it will jump from, say, around about now, and it'll jump back up to about 2 hours 35. It like sensed the load first and dropped it, then continues to keep going back up again, back up, back up, back up. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, oh, so that gave us the 03 error for the heater / draining the other day. And then I put it on to rinse. I had it on, I don't know if it had unlocked at that point, because if it hasn't, it would give the 16, but it didn't. It just started straight away. But something interesting is the heater itself. Now, I put the heater in from another machine into that. It's run a couple of cycles, and it looks like that. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So what I've done, I've put the one from the Candy Grando 7 kilo, the one that kept tripping electric, into this, because that's only 5 cycles old. So I've put that into it now. Now we're going to run with that. Now if we carry on getting codes, it could be a board issue. But here's where the board issue comes into play. Sometimes it only affects one cycle. Because I had a Hoover that had the initial sort of heater, put the heater in, but then it would only go wrong if I select cottons with pre-wash. If I selected any other cycle that wasn't pre-wash, it was fine. And it was because there was a bit missing, there was a spot weld missing on the board where the pre-wash bit was. So at the end, you just didn't know what to do. So what we've done, we've put it on the A59 cycle again, which is where it went wrong, and then we'll see what happens. Might have just been a blip, for all I know. Might have just been a blip. Hoping it is, because, you know, it's an alright machine, really. In terms of visually, because Hoovers tend to come in pretty bats when I go in. Right, so the auto dry light has gone out, but the timer hasn't advanced. It's still there. Should have advanced now to about here. When it gets a cool down, that's when auto dry actually goes out. Well, let it run for its... Oh, it's going. Hold on. It's advancing now, I think. Make this work. Alright, let's let it do its thing. Look at that, it's finished and advanced to the end. Perfectly dry. Cool. So after hours and hours and hours of drying, is it dried? No. It's drier, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not dry. The woman, it was actually listed as fully working. If you put a larger load in, it takes longer to dry. If you put a small, and she said if you put a small load in, it takes less time. Well, yeah, that's normally how a dryer works. Basically, what it sounds like is, and she was selling it for space for a buggy, because she had a child on the way. Another child on the way, shall I say. Although I'm just wondering whether she probably just got rid of it because it was taking just too long. I'm not really surprised. Oh look, the filter light's now gone out. Just by lifting the filter up and down. Huh? Why? Not that there's anything in the filter. Basically, this dryer needs a proper, complete strip down, hoovering out and putting back together again. And that condenser is completely clogged. But I suspect there's fluff all over the basically the airflow sensor, causing it to think it's clogged. Which it kind of is, really. And I think I'm right in thinking that it actually reduces the amount of heat going through it, so as to not overheat. So it cuts the heater in half. Oh well, I'll have a look at it. Right, let's see why the Aquastop has activated on this whirlpool. Just to give a little context, this whirlpool hasn't... Well, actually, it managed to go through what looks to be like the wash, at least, before it failed. And spin, and then it's just done that. Let's have a look then. Let's bring it out. There's nothing obvious why it's leaking. And I can't actually say it was done during removal, because otherwise it would have come straight away when I pumped it in. There's a little bit of water that's just come out of it. Oh, but why? That's interesting. Just a little bit. It really is just a little bit. Alright, so tilt it back a bit more. There's still water coming out of it. I think... Oddly enough, it might be due to, it has like a breather with inside it. I wonder if that's come off or something. Ugh. Let's have a look. This says door open, and it's not. That's open now. Just clicked. I don't think they've rinsed. It's done a intermediate spin at some point. It's done it, bleated it. I'll take them out for a second. Yeah, it's done an intermediate spin and then given up. Oh no, it's filled up with water. Right, so I think I can see what's caused it. It's this. It's like a breather tube. It's been laid there, and you can see water there. So, how far we got into the cycle, I will not know. But we would have got obviously onto the spin. In fact, that's probably why it's failed during the spin. It's conked out. But the thing is, that goes somewhere. That's the answer. Somewhere, because I can't see anywhere where it should just plug in. Like, does it plug into the detergent drawer somewhere? It's quite longish, I think. Let's see, where does it go? So I'm going to open up the other whirlpool and then see what... It should be there pretty much the same inside, so let's see where it goes. And as soon as you open up, now it makes more sense. It goes into there. Literally, that's all it does. And sort of poorly fitted. Not a great design then. Come on, in you go. There we go. That's in. Sort of. That's all it does, it just hangs around, look. It's not twice either, it just goes in once. This is interesting now. This is the mechanical one. There's a mechanical dial behind it, can you see? The controls are for the buttons. This is obviously a digital one, but it still uses a fair meal used it for like until about 2015. I think they still do now, actually. They got an actuator to change position of the flow. We've got a hot and a cold. Right, put the lids back on, put it all back together. We'll set up for the next wash race after that's finished rinsing and spinning.